last week, today we're using a few resources to help us learn. So in front of you should have a domino template. It's a big one. And then you should also have a few other ones that have smaller dominoes on them. You should have a bag of marshmallows ready to go. And then you should also have a few people and dogs that are stuck into marshmallows already. Alright, so now I'm just going to tell you a quick little story about my family. In my family there is me. There's my dad, my sister, and lastly, my brother. So I'm just going to put my family here on this side of my domino template. How many is there altogether in my family? I'm not too sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our technique of counting on to figure out. So we know there's me, number 1. We're going to start here. 1. We're going to count on the rest to help us. We got 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in my family, there is 5. That is the total number, or the whole number that we have. Now, silly me, sometimes I forget things. I forgot to tell you that I also have 4 dogs in my family. So here they are. Alright, my 4 dogs. Now this is a bigger number, there's a lot more here. How can we figure out how many there are in total? What's our whole number? We can use our technique of counting on like we just did. We know we have 5 people, so now we're going to count on the rest. So we start with the number 5 and we're going to count on down. So 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 9 is our total, it's our whole number. This is how many people lived in my parents. Now we're going to look at partitioning. We've counted on and we know we have 9 in total, which is a pretty big number. So with partitioning, we're going to break it down into smaller parts so it's easier to work with. Looking at our diagram of my family, I think there are 2 pretty distinct parts that we could use. We have our people and our dogs. Now, I forgot to tell you something else. I moved out and I took a dog with me, and then my sister moved out and she took a dog with her. This is all that's left in my parents' house. So, how many do we have now? Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3 people, and then we have 1, 2 dogs. What is the number in total now? If you can't do the mental maths in your head, we can use the technique of counting on. We know we have 3 on this side, so let's count on the rest. We have 4 and 5. So there is 5 in total in my parents' house. Now we're going to look at visually representing this. You have your big domino template. We're going to just take our people and our dogs out now. We don't need them anymore. We're just going to work with the marshmallows and pretend they're dots on our domino. So, if we were to visually represent, remember we had 2 dogs and 3 people. Here is our domino. How many dots will go on the dog side? 2 dots. 1 and 2. And how many dots on the people side? We have 3 people left, so we have 1, 2, and 3. This is one way we could visually represent our parts. Again, we have 5 in total. We knew we had 5 already. We didn't take any away, we didn't add any on, so our total stayed the same. Now we know how to visually represent. We're going to look one step further at rearranging, which is where we move parts to create a different visual. Again, we're not taking anything away, we're not adding anything on, we're just moving things around. So we have 2 and we have 3, and we're going to rearrange them. What's one thing we could do to rearrange? So to rearrange this, we could move 1 from this side over to this side, which would now look like 1 and 4. Again, this is a whole number of 5, we didn't take anything away, but if you are getting confused, we can count on. So we have 1, we're going to count on the rest, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 in total. Now we're going to look at writing the equation for our dominoes. This is where we use numbers and symbols to write out what we can see. So we're going to start with the first domino. We have 2 and 3, so we're going to write down our numbers first, 2 and 3, and we know this equals 5. Again, we didn't take any away, we didn't add any more, so we still have 5. 2 + plus 3, so we're going to put our plus in, equals 5. Those are the two symbols we need to use for this domino. Let's move on to our next domino. I'm going to move my pieces again, my parts. I now have 1 and 4, so I'm going to write my numbers down. 1 plus 4 equals 5. So now we have learned how to count on, partition, rearrange, and write the mathematical equation. We're going to work through our domino templates. I want you to pull out all your pink marshmallows to start. We're only going to work with pink. We're going to do pink together, and then you will do pink and white with your partner. So, pulling out all your pinks, let's count how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're starting with 7 pink marshmallows. I'm going to put them onto my template now. There we go. I've put them all on one side. Is this something we can write a maths equation for? No, we can't, because we have nothing to add to this, so we need to rearrange our parts. I'm going to put 1 over here. So I have 1 on this side, and then I have 6 on this side. We have rearranged, so can we write an equation for this? Yes, we can. Our equation would look like 1 plus 6 equals 7. We know 7 is our total, we counted at the start, and we didn't add or take away. So we have 1 plus 6 equals 7. Let's rearrange again. What else? How can we rearrange it? Oh, here we go. I moved 1 to this side, I now have 2 over here, and I have 5 on this side. So let's write the equation. So I'm just going to draw up my domino. My sheet. Here's my domino. I have 2 and I have 5, and I've written underneath 2 and 5 equals 7. We're going to rearrange again. So I'm going to move 1 over here. Now I have 3 on this side and 4 on this side. So we're going to write the equation for this. 3 and 4 equals 7. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. We're going to move 1 over again. Now on this side we have 4, and on this side we have 3. It's very similar to the one we just did, but it's not quite the same. We've moved our numbers around. So we have 4 plus 3 equals 7. Move again. On this side we now have 5, and this side we have 2. Writing our equation for this, it will look like 5 plus 2 equals 7. We can only do 1 more equation for 7 marshmallows. So we're going to move 1 more part over. We now have 6 and 1. So our last equation will be 6 plus 1 equals 7. Perfect. Now that we've done all the pink marshmallows, I want you to work with your partner using pink and white. All the marshmallows you should have. You're going to rearrange them on your template, draw it onto your dominoes on your working paper, and then write your equation underneath. You will need to fill up the last 2 pages of your dominoes, and that's how you know you have done all the equations for this number. So lay out your marshmallows and count the total, and then continue on from there. Thank you.